Well, I was in the VA hospital, post-traumatic stress disorder program and drug addiction, and I ran into a pastor from Koinonia Church that was in for overuse of a pain medicine. He was in the same drug rehab, and that was last August, and he hooked me up, met Bill, and I've been here ever since last August.
Well, I came to the house in Malachi because I had been living up in the city for a little while and was in a house in an area that I was not comfortable with. However, I remember stopping. I got a hint one day from a friend who said, you got to check this place out. And he's got a room free and it'd be reasonable, and it was a really nice house. So I stopped in for a totally different reason, and Bill offered to show me around the house. And I remember I went upstairs and I saw the room. Actually, it was an apartment, a full apartment up in the third floor. And I remember walking into it and realized that there was doors in the apartment that I'd seen in a dream a while back. And it really was a confirmation of, this is the place I gotta go. And I remember being in this area, I realized it wasn't far away from where I was earlier, where I was previously, but it was like this bubble of peace. It was this amazing place that really was just quiet. It was peaceful, and up there you could see you had a great view of Jones Park, and I found that it was really, really, really satisfying to be in there. And I remember talking to Bill, and suddenly it was like, what do you ask for this? And the price range was exactly where I needed to be, and it was like all these different kind of pieces that kind of fit together. And so I moved in.
It was a rough time in my life, and I was actually having marital problems, and at the same time I was doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing and living a double life. And unfortunately I got into some domestic violence issues, and which I took myself out of my home, the situation in my home. And I sought out some help from the pastor, and actually the pastor actually recommended that I excuse myself from my family situation, and that's where Bill came into my life. He connected us, and everything after that, his history was wonderful. It was a one-time thing. We only lasted a short period of time in my life, but it was a very instrumental part in my walk with God and getting me closer to God, and realizing that things I needed to fix and things I needed to get straight with God, and it was my family, and things I kept hitting from my family had to be exposed and had to be dealt with spiritually. And it's a tough thing. Actually, it's like putting a mirror in front of you and realizing that you're not the perfect dad. Even though I went to church every Sunday, even though I faithfully gave offering and tithing, and I even worked in Sunday school. There were things in my life that weren't right, and it all finally came to an impasse, and I took out my anger and my issues on my wife, and I shouldn't have. And I thank God for her forgiveness and for His forgiveness that has brought me to where I am today, which is an incredible place.
The best I can answer that is that God's in this house, that's for sure. But I've been saved while I've been here. I've been very active in my church, and this is a home. It's not a rooming house or a group of guys. It's a Christian home with basic fundamentals of rights and wrongs, and it's just a wonderful place to be. And I try to get the guys in that I know, and sometimes they make it, sometimes they don't. I happen to be fortunate enough. I'll be here a year in August. Well, it's put me back on the straight and narrow. When I was out there in the world running the streets, money wasn't an object. I always had money. I was a street person, and I got here, and I've learned how to actually accept love and give love. So between the program that I've been through and Bill here and my fellow brothers and sisters in Christ, I've gotten back on. I'm retired. I'm retired now, but I do a lot of stuff for the church, and I can and help Bill here with the guys.
I think the biggest impact is actually something that didn't have to do with Malachi directly, but it was the fact that it allowed me to prepare for and walk through a relationship that became my marriage, and it was really exciting to be able to see, to sort things out. And I came from a place of being, I'm going to say, broken from a previous relationship, and it allowed me to put the pieces together. It allowed me to come back into a confidence to be able to get to know my beautiful wife, and it let me set up some good patterns in my life, not just relating to my wife, but also relating to other people around me, and getting used to being in ministry, getting used to being in places of demand. And it also fundamentally allowed me to resort a lot of stuff in my life, and my wife would attest to how much junk I had, and I cleaned out spiritually as well as physically. Cleaned out a lot of stuff, got rid of a lot of things that were hanging on, were in storage, and sorted them out and cleared them out. I really, there's a parallel between the physical, natural stuff that we were doing with just the items and the things I had collected over years, and what was happening spiritually with me at the time, and it really helped. And I that's probably the coolest thing about the House of Malachi. It let me, it encouraged me and let me begin to repair myself spiritually for my marriage.
I have to say that the great thing about this house also is that they love baseball. And I remember a time when I was with my son, and Bill was with Ed, and we all decided to go to a baseball game, and my son ran ahead and ran towards Ed and grabbed Ed by the hand, and I'm standing walking with Bill and just seeing this man that nobody appreciated, and walking with my son and the changes that he's done in Ed, and for me to have the courage to let him go with Ed, and just watching the sunset behind him, and just watching him just walk into the sunset. It was just a beautiful moment. I tear up every time I talk about it, because for other people it may be silly, but for me that was just the House of Malachi right there. What he's done in Ed's life and what he's done in my life, and to bring us together like that, and it was just a special moment. So you won't get too many moments from me that I won't tear up when it comes to the House of Malachi. So, I mean, the Bible studies are awesome. The Monday night Bible studies. I mean, just fellowshipping, just going out to eat, just to do life together. Not always harp on the bad things. That's the good things of life. Mm-hmm. And to be able to put Jesus in the forefront, and let Him handle it, because in our strength we can't. And when we're in that situation, we can't. We think we could, but we can't. And that's what I love about the House of Malachi, is that there's always somebody there to listen, and always somebody there to talk to that has gone through similar things, or if not, just to pray for you. I love the intercessory prayer. It's like just make a phone call and call somebody and say, hey, can you pray for me? They don't ask you what's going on or what are you doing, how's your spirit? They just say, okay, and they pray. That's what it's all about. So I love this house.
He's a great person. He knows what he wants out of life, and he does it. And his heart's always in helping guys. And I've noticed that since I've been here, and that's gave me a big touch back on life, because I didn't care about anybody before. Now I can actually say that I love people. And Bill's a very important part of my recovery and my stability.
Bill is an inclusive person. He's not one that will let you sit alone. Even in my case, I had a relatively isolated apartment, because I could shut a door, I could lock a door. I was in a different section of the house, and I was 3 stories up. So I didn't necessarily need the common room, but it was still one of the things where he would invite me down, come down for supper, come down, join him. If they were going out for something, he would ask me if I wanted to go. Come and watch a movie with them, watch a baseball game, which they love baseball. And it was something where it's like you connect with everybody in the house. So you even if you don't become close personal friends, you get to know them, and there's a camaraderie with anyone who has been in House of Malachi. You kind of know who they are, and you can relate to them, and they can relate to you. And that's kind of neat. It's been a good time getting to know the different people that have lived at House of Malachi. Bill is also a person that you can address. You can go down and say, look, this is what's going on in my life. And he's very personable, but he's also very honest, very straightforward, and he'll tell you what he thinks. And it helps to realize that, that you're not alone. I mean, it's a common place to be when you're down, is you feel like everyone's against you, you feel like you're alone, and Bill will come beside and say, hey, let's look at this in a different way, and it's really cool.
And actually helping Bill out now with the House of Malachi, and doing what I can to make sure that other people get the help. I mean, not necessarily in my situation, anyone that needs spiritual help or anyone that needs a hand. It's basically what this house is all about. And I love being a part of it. And I feel like an alumni, but I feel like I belong here. So I come here, we break bread together, we socialize together, and it's just a wonderful time here. And I get to meet so many interesting and great men that come through here. And I could just see God's hand at work. And it's just an incredible place. And I thank God over and over and over for Bill and for this house and for the shelter that it provided for me. Because I had nowhere to go. Nowhere to go.
And that's really what it's all about.